here, and thank you for the organizers of this event, as well as for Java. Thank you. My name is Anne, and I currently work for a center called Tahirih Justice Center, and our mission is protecting immigrant women and girls who are fleeing violence. And so I want to kind of return a little bit to some kind of lessons and insights that I've learned since I joined Tahirih 4 years ago. But I thought I would start with just like an overall sense that when we start looking at our policies and some of our kind of conceptual mores as a society that paint our immigration laws, I think we get a really interesting flux of one is a real kind of mission statement and adherence to the value of family unity. And the fact that we as a community are very strong when our families are intact, when we have policies that permit loved ones to be together and to support each other as a community. We also, in another sense, want to ensure that we have immigration policies that really enhance our capital vigor and ability to compete in a very competitive world. And so we want to make sure that we attract businesses that can meet their needs of having highly skilled employees that are able to come in and really bring tons of talent, drive, education, and values to enrich our society. And that's something that has made America what it is from day one. And also you'll see in our immigration law an incredible set of statutes that act as a fabric that protects some of the most vulnerable individuals in our world community that are fleeing issues of genocide, war, child abuse, exploitation. And the idea here is that we need to look at the individual. We need to do individual analysis to decide as a society, as humanity, how should we treat this individual's situation. And these laws are incredibly complicated, and I think the reason why I moved out of the nonprofit center to go to the University of Houston was to try to understand the law, because I couldn't figure it out just reading the books. Immigration law, if you look at the statutes and the regulations, make tax law look simple. I mean, this stuff, even with a wonderful attorney and a college degree, is incredibly difficult at times to maneuver. The timing of applications that need to be sent, with what attachments, even some of the most qualified immigration attorneys in town with a lot of money and clients who have a lot of assets have a very difficult time walking the line to maintain what we call an immigration legal status. And so many experts from both the end of ensuring that talent is even able to come to America and remain, to those that are working with the voice of very vulnerable individuals are saying we need to revamp, we need to figure out what is broken and to assess really some of the underlying reasons why we find in our community that we have individuals trying to strive, elevate themselves in college, walk a line of dignity, and that they're one of 11 million people, plus or minus, without the ability to legally work and be in this nation. I think of immigration really through all the amazing individual conversations that I've had a privilege to have with immigrants that I've come along to meet as friends and as an attorney in the last 14 years. And I realized that, you know, Ms. Lawson, your original words that you entered with, that the more we learn together and the more we talk to the other, the more we realize that we're one community and we can figure this out. And I'm always shocked when I talk to individuals who say, I need to tell you what, you're an immigration attorney, you need to help me, my nanny or my friend or a neighbor is this amazing. It tells me that it's not like the other immigrants who are here illegally, but it's this individual. And once we reach out and get to know that individual's story and learn about the niece and the mother and the aunt and the cousin and the friend and the nanny, our compassion is naturally there. And so hopefully we can find a way to enter into this dialogue really focusing on that individual, and that we as a community of strength, of perseverance, of trust and humanity, of strong neighborhoods, what can we do? You know, and I, in the area that I work with specifically of women fleeing violence, the statistics worldwide and from our neighbors and our own communities are quite daunting of how violence can interplay with an ability of a child or a mother trying to protect their children's ability to walk the line to maintain safety and at the same time legal status and adherence to the law simultaneously. It is quite daunting. It is quite difficult. One, just for a few statistics here of what we see in our community and what we work with. Every 3 seconds across the world, an underage girl is forced to marry against her will. Here in Houston, this is for individuals who are immigrants as well as individuals that are born in our streets, in our nation. Every minute, internationally, 6 girls endure female genital mutilation. Every hour, 29 women and girls report a rape to the police, and it's estimated by the World Health Organization that there are many other women and girls who do not report rapes to the police for an understanding that nothing will be done. Every day, 14 women and girls are murdered because they are considered a dishonor to their family. Every month, 150,000 women during the time of the Rwandan genocide were widowed because they had been victimized by their husband's male relatives. And for human trafficking, unfortunately, what Houston has a national reputation of having the issue hit our streets. Worldwide, over 600 to 800,000 women and girls are trafficked each year. And in domestic violence, 1 out of 3 women internationally has suffered some form of domestic violence in their life. So why at an immigration dialogue am I throwing out these statistics? I am because they explain some of the complexity of the real life cases of the immigration issue on our street. Out of these 11 million individuals, over a half are women and children. Many who have come to our streets to seek safety or do not want to return because of very true fears that face them abroad. Fears of losing their own lives, fears of future persecution, and fears of harm to their children. So I ask that as we enter into this dialogue of what to do with our immigration system, I ask, find a venue, find a way, maybe it's through your community church or your YMCA, to work with an immigrant family, get to know their story, get to know somebody here who is looking for some form of immigration reform, to know how the laws may be able to affect and what happened in their life, to get a sense of the complexity of what Congress, at least nationally, is trying to grapple with. At our center, we received a large number of calls from women and girls seeking free legal assistance. And when we look at their cases, we often see, oh my, Congress is in fact understood this problem, that for example, this concept of family unity allows citizens and legal permanent residents to send in paperwork for their loved ones, to petition for their loved ones to come into the United States here legally. But in domestic violence, the issues of control and power and manipulation don't always create an abuser who does the right things under the immigration laws for their family members. And as a result, some children and women and men who are in abusive relationships find themselves, even though they kind of have access to the law because Congress wanted them to be able to be here legally. In the real world, they weren't able to piece it all together. And so the result of this is many individuals find themselves in dire, dire legal situations because of violence in their households. And to fix that, Congress has said, let's do it. Let's create this statute. Let's create a pathway to fix the situation. And what do we see? We see that it's really hard for individuals to access immigration law on their own, to download paperwork, figure out how to assemble it, and put it together. And that organizations like Neighborhood Centers, MALDEF, NALEO, Catholic Charities, YMCA work incredibly hard day after day to try to provide quality information to help individuals navigate this incredibly complicated web. But in reality, the resources are very slim and the access to how-to information is very difficult. And so when we look at reform, one thing I'd like to call upon is an effort to make it simple and to make it clear and accessible. For many individuals, Congress has already had a deep commitment to assist, and how we as a community can gather sufficient resources and should applaud efforts such as this one this evening with the Public Library, the City of Houston, the United Nations Association, to really raise awareness, understanding, so that we can come together to help so many individuals who have access to laws as they exist, and to recognize where the pathways are where we need to fix the issues that are broken.